If you'd like to move fluidly on the floor, but every time that you try, you just get stuck or paralyzed and don't know what to do, this routine is definitely for you. Today you're gonna learn 4 moves to create this movement flow, which you can later play with and just be creative and have more options when you are on the floor. This routine is designed to be able to be done in tiny spaces. So as long as you can take a couple steps, you can do it. If you have access to the SM Academy, you can pick between the guided or the follow-along version. And remember, the first month is at 50% off, so you can test the programs and see if they are for you. And without further ado, let's begin. Enjoy the music, enjoy the practice, and let's become smooth and fluid on the floor.
All right, so let's begin this practice with some shaking. Bounce freely. Relax your arms and let's begin. So you can shift the weight from one foot to the other or bounce with both at the same time. Raising the heart rate, upping the intensity a bit. And up next, we're going to be reaching sideways in a very organic way. So just pick one side, reach far, and you can switch levels going from reaching high to reaching low. You can get creative here. Maybe adding some twists or reaching with your arm overhead is another option. And reach as if you were going to touch something that's very far. See how that feels in your back, your legs. And let's get ready for the next one. This one is literally going to be squatting with a twist. So pick a direction and rotate as you're squatting down, and once in the bottom, rotate from your head as if you were trying to look behind you. Notice that you can also connect elbow to knee to intensify the rotation in your spine. Then we're going to explore reaches in a squat position by reaching with our knees. Once again, this one is organic, so it's up to you. Pick a point on the floor or in space and try to reach with one knee at a time. And feel free to use your hands to assist you. It's not about getting into a crazy range of motion here, but more like, yeah, let's see where we are today. Am I feeling particularly tight when I go to one direction? Go through this warm-up more as an exploration of where your flexibility is at today, rather than following directions and trying to do it perfectly, whatever perfect means. Up next, we'll do Kiza back bends. So on the back bends, we're going to open the whole front side of the body. Once again, assist yourself with your hands as much as you need. You don't need to go deep right away. And once again, explore these ranges. Then we're going to go into a quadruped position to place some weight on those wrists, as well as getting in touch with stabilizing through the core. Do your best to keep your torso and hips parallel to the floor as you raise one foot or one arm. If you want to take it up a notch, raise one hand and the opposite foot at the same time. But if that's too challenging for now, you can practice it later. We're just getting warmed up here. Next, we're going to up the intensity on your wrists with the free ape to expose them a bit to your body weight. So we call this one free ape. It could be frogs, rabbit, pick your animal. Pick your direction and propel yourself forward, backwards, or sideways, making these little jumps. We're going to practice the first move of the sequence, the side ape. So beginning in a squat position, you're going to reach with the opposite hand, followed by the other, and make a little jump. And since we are in this tiny space, we're going to be taking only 2 steps and then switch directions. This is also a pretty fast-paced practice. So if you don't get it right away, don't worry. As you repeat this practice, you'll start noticing how these movements become natural. And you'll start to observe the subtleties of it. Like, where does it feel more comfortable to place your hands? How putting more weight on your hands allows you to lift your hips. All of that is information that you'll start gathering as you expose yourself to these new movement patterns. And now we're going to practice the second movement of the sequence, the prone leg switch. So place both hands on the floor in front of you, and as you extend one leg, jump and switch sides. Notice that I'm giving you very little instructions on how to perform these movements, and that's on purpose. Because I want you to observe the movement, try to replicate it. That's also going to develop your ability to observe a movement and copy it, figuring out how to do it on your own without receiving clear instructions or a biomechanical breakdown of it. So enough theory, how is that leg switch going for you? Are you jumping high? Are you jumping low? Are you having a hard time bending while extending the other leg? These are just some questions for you to observe what you're doing. All right, so now we're going to put the first movement with the second together, building the beginning of this movement flow. So go for that side ape and figure out how to connect the prone leg switch to it. And also go at your own pace. If you need to stop for a second to figure out how to connect it, do so. This is not an endurance workout, even though it can be, but rather at the beginning, learn the movements, pause, Take your time. If you haven't switched sides, you can do it now. Or continue to figure out one side. This is your practice. You decide what to do, really. Even just pausing the video if you want and spend more time practicing this. Now we're going to introduce a new movement, movement C, Supine Leg Switch, which is very similar to the prone leg switch, but in a supine position. So feel free to adjust your hand position and place your hands where you can comfortably support your weight. That way you'll be able to shift more weight towards your hands and make your legs feel lighter for the switch. And notice how the timing of your leg movement is important here. And now we're going to put together the prone and the supine leg switch. A transition that might challenge your hip mobility, hence why I've put an easier variation in which you twist or rotate your torso to allow yourself to get some assistance from your hands and some room to get into the prone position. I suggest you notice where you place your hands behind you. The further they are, the harder it gets to reach forward. And the closer they are, the more assistance you can get. Feel free to switch and try with the other side now. And you might notice right away the difference in flexibility from one side to the other. Now you know which side you want to spend more time in. And that's the beauty of this practice, that you get to learn so much about your body, how you move, what's challenging, and what's easy to you. Now we're going to introduce the last movement of the sequence, the assisted long-range duck walk. So start with small steps at the beginning, and then slowly expand the range, perhaps kicking, using that momentum to rotate. And I invite you to be aware of how much weight are you placing on your hand? Is your hand just there? Or are you actually taking advantage of that support? And also feel free to take a break, because some of these movements can be intense on your toes, especially that big toe stretch. So allow yourself to pause if it gets too uncomfortable. As again, you're learning a new movement pattern. It's not about endurance. You'll get there. But for now, let's get the movement patterns first. And Now it's time to put it all together. All these 4 movements. And go for the full sequence. So side ape, prone leg switch, supine leg switch, into this long range dog walk. Again, go at your own pace. And I suggest at the beginning, if you're having trouble to connect them all, to go in slow motion. You literally just go in slow motion. There's no rush. Connect A to B first, and then figure out C to the last one. And if you're getting frustrated because you're stuck in one transition, I suggest you stay there and figure out that piece of the sequence. And once you have it, you begin from the top again. And please give credit to yourselves. You're stepping into unexplored territory for you. So do your best to enjoy the process. Don't turn this into a punishing exercise of, oh, I'm not doing this the right way. Oh, I messed this up again. Don't let the perfectionist in you take over. If you think about it, nobody's forcing you to do this. You're doing this because you chose to. So smile and enjoy. And you'll notice how everything just becomes easier. And now we're going to take the 4 movements that we've practiced and we're going to flow freely without a set order. The whole point of this free flow section of the practice is for you to keep moving. Just keep the motion constant. And as you do that, you might see how new transitions emerge out of nowhere. Do your best to stick to the 4 movements that you've learned. The side ape, prone leg switch, supine leg switch, and long range dog walk. And at the beginning, you might be repeating a lot of the same movement, going with the ape everywhere, not knowing what to do next. If that's you right now, I suggest you slow it down. Don't follow my pace. Go in slow motion. Allow yourself some time to connect one movement to the other. So going slower tends to be better with improvisation practice. When practicing improvisation. On the other hand, if you tend to freeze, not knowing what to do next, just keep the motion constant. It doesn't matter if it's not a movement from the 4 that we picked. The point is that you don't get paralyzed and that you can break that roadblock with movement. Now we're getting to the end of the practice with this cool down, in which we're going to be shaking and staying still right after. So just like we did in the beginning, let's start bouncing. Relax your head, relax your arms, relax your shoulders. Allow gravity to pull the weight down. And here you can also try keeping your feet on the ground as you keep bouncing. You can bend over. Be very mindful of the sensations that you're getting as you shake. And try to spot lines of tension that perhaps need more time to get loose and release that accumulated tension. And to contrast that, now we're going to stay still without moving. You can pick to do it with eyes closed or eyes open, and focus on the sensations of breathing. You might feel a tingling sensation in your hands. How your feet support your weight. Allow yourself to just be in this position. There's nothing that needs to be fixed or aligned. Just let yourself be right here, right now. Feel free to stay here for as long as you'd like. And thank you so much for allowing me to guide your practice today. It's truly appreciated. And until next time, the practice goes on. Much love to you.